Welcome to another episode. This one is episode 10. Very special episode, guys. Man, it feels like we just got this thing started rocking and rolling not too long ago, but we're hitting the ground running, man, and we've been enjoying this thing so far. So tonight we got some special topics to talk about with you guys. I'm gonna let MB take over and explain the topics that we're gonna be discussing tonight.
All right, man. Glad to be back on episode 10. Uh, it's definitely a refreshing feeling to continue to do what we do as far as being analytical, being critical, but also being informative as far as for the general public that may not be in tune as far as understanding the game, the rankings, resources, NIL, and the transfer portal, and more. But tonight, we're going to stick to three topics. The first one that we'll start with is the finish of the 2025 college football recruiting. Obviously, there have been some recent moves since signing day that landed in the middle of the week in February. Or not, I mean not February, but middle of the week in December. My bad. The second signing period actually lands in the middle of the week in February. But there have been some changes. For example, I know one big change. Dallas Wilson did not ultimately end up at Oregon University. He actually ended up at Florida. Another guy that was supposed to go somewhere else, Ty Haywood, in which you gave me great insight as far as him not being one of those guys that signed in December, and that was very, very big and also alarming, if I would say, as far as the coaching staff at the University of Alabama, Coach Cap, and obviously Sheridan and DeBoer concerning the outfit. So that was a big loss. But there has been some solidification, and looking at the current 2025 ranking, the top team that finished as of today was Texas, Alabama second, Georgia third, Oregon fourth, and Ohio State fifth. And this is based on three. If I were to continue to go and just give you all the top 10, Auburn landed at 6, LSU 7, Texas A&M 8, Michigan 9, and Tennessee 10. So listening to those top 10 teams, what do you think, B, as far as the season that they just had, and obviously the incoming guys and guys that are already on campus due to the early enrollee system? Who do you think is the biggest winner going into the preseason? So we talking summer, spring, and then obviously the week of game one or before game one.
I'm gonna focus on the top probably 3 to 5 teams, and I will say it's tough, man. It's truly tough. It really depends on which one of these freshmen can get in there and make an instant impact. Honestly, it could be Bama because of the impact Keelan Russell could provide. I mean, Keelan Russell could provide. Michael Carroll could provide. Dijon Lee could provide. Those are three guys that I feel like could get in there and make an instant impact. But then again, you can look at Georgia and look at that defense they got. You know, they got Elijah Griffin and Isaiah Gibson, 2 5-star, defensive tackles. So I think
One is actually a more versatile guy. I don't know if it's Gibson.
I
I
think
think
it's,
it is
I
Gibson.
think it's Gibson. Yeah, he's
Gibson is one of
he's
those guys you may see
yeah,
correct on the edge.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
You
but keep
can't forget
going, keep going.
then you can't forget about the 6'7" guy, the tight end. I think it's Ulysses.
Why Ulysses Williams or
Ulysses
Elias
Williams.
Williams? One of them.
One of them.
That's a freak of nature. Actually, he definitely has film on YouTube of him playing basketball. And if you know the direct correlation between football players and being able to play basketball, you know that he has some type of footwork, he has agility, he has some type of speed, and he's going to be athletic. So that's definitely a big get in that class for Georgia. Another guy I want to highlight for Georgia was Taylor. I think he had a great week this past week at the Navy All-American Bowl. He was one of the top performers. And Georgia needs a receiving core bad. I think them.
Yeah.
And obviously there are more teams to name, but when you talk about Georgia and where they have been as far as type of athletes that they have had, they
Mm-hmm.
need some receivers bad, man.
Well, you got well if you look at the fact that they did just pick up 3 receivers in the portal,
Correct.
and 2 of them was pretty big time last year, and then you got the
Got
Branch
Zach Branch.
and his brother Zion.
Be able to play safety.
Then you got Thomas kid from Texas A&M.
Mm-hmm.
So that's gonna look nice. And then just to top it off for this Texas class, what's gonna be interesting about Texas, what's gonna be interesting about Georgia and even Bama, is all these guys they young. They're gonna be young next year. Bama gonna be losing some players, but they're getting a lot of players back. So it's gonna be about the young pieces filling in to help us get over the hump. For Texas, they losing a ton on the offensive side of the ball, but they finna replace them with a ton of offensive firepower that's just young. So it's gonna be nice to see your Jamie Frenches, your Khalid Lockett's, and then
Michael Terry.
Then you got the steal, Justice Terry. You got the steal, and Michael Terry and Justice Terry. So you got the steal of
the late signers actually.
Signing day, yeah. So me
because
personally,
there was actually 4 other schools in the race for Justice Terry. But keep going.
And he and on top of that, he committed to Texas, but Texas wasn't even in the top 3.
Correct. You heard a lot of buzz around Georgia. You heard a lot of buzz around Auburn late, and then obviously Bama during the summer when he actually took his official.
But he went to Texas. That was so surprising. I was like, Texas. They just got everybody known to mankind. You stole Khalid Lockett and Jamie French from Bama. I mean, well, Jamie French was gone when Nick, left, and Khalid Lockett, committed last minute. But man, you would think one of those guys would want to come partner up with Keelan Russell, but we did get Derek Meadows last minute, so I am hyped up to see him
from LSU.
Yeah. So I'm hyped up to see him come from Vegas with Bishop Gorman, and I will say, well, I'll wait to the next segment to discuss this player that I'm really hoping Bama can reel in. But that was pretty much my take on the top 2025 class. The players who I feel like could make the most impact in that top 3 to 5 team slot, and guys can get in there and get rolling. Hey, I look forward for them teams to have some big seasons next year.
Correct. So just to highlight the rest of the top 25, you got Florida at 11, Notre Dame 12. You have Miami at 13, USC at 14, Penn State 15, Oklahoma 16, Ole Miss 17, Missouri 18, South Carolina 19, Florida State 20, Nebraska 21, Mississippi State 22, 23 Georgia Tech, 24 Clemson, 25 Washington.
Okay.
So that being the top 25 with nobody having a overall recruiting class ranking of 88.7, that is your top of the top cream of the crop as far as 2025. Now, some players I want to highlight, obviously some players that I coached. Definitely want to highlight TK Norman, one of the gets for the Texas A&M Aggies in this class. Going to be a great get, diamond in the rough.
Yes.
I like 3-star guys because I was a 3-star guy, and it's a stat out there, and I'll be able to show it on one of our episodes coming forward. But a great amount of the league are guys that are JUCO, 3 and 2-star guys. So with that being said, that just shows the innate work ethic that they have, the ability to persevere, and also just the late bloomer mentality behind some of them. TK Norman was a great receiver. I had a great pleasure this year coaching him this past year. He was very athletic. He was very respectful. He's also very professional. So I think Coach Wiggins and Coach Elko out there at Texas A&M is going to have a great getting that guy. And simply because he's not going to be the guy that's headlining the class. But once you get him on campus, once you watch him work, once you watch him run, watch his route running ability, and then his precision while route running. I think that's very, very underrated with him. And I just wish him the best. I hope he has a great year coming forward. The next guy I want to highlight is Anthony Rogers real quick. Everybody knows about Turbo Anthony Rogers. Everybody. He was one of those early bloomers, as in a person that was noticeable being recruited in the 8th and 9th grade years. He had a great years at Pike Road, his first 2 years of his career, and then 1 year at IMG and his last year at Carver. I think Ant will be a very versatile back. He also is going to be a hard worker. I think they can also use him in multiple ways. When I say versatility, if you continue to train his hands up, you continue to put him in the slot receiver role, and also, just work on his in-depth detail as far as running routes, understanding leverage, understanding coverages. I think he also is a guy that can go out into the slot and be a very easy plug with what they're doing now. If you look at it, Chip Kelly is doing an amazing job going 5 wide, maybe 20% of the time sometimes, as far as spreading you out first, motioning back to the backfield with a running back, or maybe a tight end to add a hat to the quarterback run game. I think Chip Kelly's done an exceptional job showcasing the versatility of Travion Henderson and Quinshon Judkins, and Anthony Rogers is going to be a great insert fit as far as that goes. Here's another back in that class, Bo Jackson, but I think Ant is going to be very special as well. And last but not least, Trey Berry, workhorse, one of the hardest workers I've ever coached. 3-star running back as well. Having the ability to coach him was an honor in my eyes, just because of his work ethic, his demeanor, but also his undeniable talent as far as being able to bring people together. He's a very underrated leader. And having him be a part of my running back room was great this past year. And I wish him the best because he's also going Big Ten in Minnesota. And honestly, I think that's a great fit. He is a downhill runner. When you talk about Minnesota, when you talk about Iowa, when you talk about some of those other schools in the Big Ten, they're known, Wisconsin, they're known for being downhill running attacks. And shoot, I think it's no better situation for him. I'm glad he ended up getting that offer. He was dancing around with, a lot of mid majors and D2, D1 AA schools, but ended up finding a good, powerful program that recognizes his talent. Shout out to Coach Fleck and his staff for being able to land Trey Beard. Now, going into the class of 2026, one thing that I want to say is, obviously, it's not the place that the class is actually going to end up. We all know they're surprising recruiting on a daily basis. We all know that just because the current rankings of the 2026 class sit one way here in January does not mean that it'll be the same way come December, their early signing period in 2025. So the end of the year. So with that being said, let me highlight the top 25. When I just say the top 10, because I don't want to give people a false hope as far as how they going to finish in this class, because there are some guys in this top 10 that I do not expect to end up in the top 10 coming December 2025.
Yeah.
All right. So the top 10, Oregon currently number 1, USC number 2, Tennessee 3, LSU 4, Auburn 5, Texas A&M 6, Florida State 7, Penn State 8, Ohio State 9, and South Carolina at 10. All right. Just some other notable names that I named in the top 25. I won't name the whole top 25. You got Clemson at 19. You got Washington at 18. Miami 15. Georgia 12. Notre Dame 11. Florida 14. And Oklahoma and Arkansas at 16 and 17. So those are just some of the marquee programs, or I would say the better conference programs, because it's no debate that the SEC and Big Ten are the best 2 conferences.
Yeah.
And I also want to shed some light on that. Ohio State has been doing a lot of talking as far as, their place in college football landscape. And rightfully so. They are in the national championship. They are going to get a chance to compete and win it. And they have a very, very talented team, which we know from the beginning. But if you had to say who was the best conference right now, BJ, would you go Big Ten?
Nope.
Still.
Nah. Nah.
I feel you. Go ahead and give me a reason why.
SEC just beat each other up too much.
The
So
parity.
so you will never see a healthy or a full throttle SEC team in the playoffs because of the long seasons now. So you give me the top 4 to 5, maybe even 6, possibly this year you could go 7 deep up into Ole Miss. I truly think all 7 of those teams could have very well competed. And most of those teams could have played for a national championship. Only 3 of those teams got a chance to get in there. 4 of them got left out.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think out the 4 that got left out, or 3 that got left out, Bama, South Carolina, Ole Miss. I think at the time of the year, Bama possibly, maybe not because of quarterback play, possibly, and just the whole morale of the team. But I definitely think Ole Miss and South Carolina possibly could have competed for um, a chance in the college football playoff. But if you ask me, man, the only reason really I truly say SEC is better because Big Ten, similar to the SEC, is top heavy, of course. If it's not Ohio State, if it's not Michigan, or if it's not now Oregon, those teams pretty much haven't. Oregon and USC has uplifted the Big Ten, if you ask me, more so than Texas and Oklahoma uplifted the SEC. I don't think those 2 teams truly impacted the ACC as much as having Oregon and USC come over to the Big Ten. And Oregon being tremendous with Dan Lanning right now, I think it gives the Big Ten a boost to compete for the conference of the year. So it's a close matchup right now, man. But I still think SEC has the best coaches. So that's what ultimately takes it for me. SEC has the best coaches and it has the best atmosphere. So
I agree. Now, I am not a guy that played in the SEC, but I am a guy that has been to Big 12 venues, SEC venues, and played in them. And as far as the atmosphere, the stadium size, the resources, the crowd size and population, the amenities and things available to the players and coaches at those universities and institutions are second to none. I mean, I like Ohio State. I like Oregon. I think both of them have top tier programs, top tier facilities, top tier resources, and top tier money. But I don't think that if they were in the SEC, that they would boast some of those same records that they were able to boast at the end of the year. I do not think Oregon is an undefeated team in the SEC.
no.
I also do not think Ohio State is an undefeated team in the SEC just because the bottom tier teams in the SEC will come to your house and put you up in a fight in order to prove that they're progressing and they're making developmental strides on their sideline. Look at Jeff Levy. Look at Vanderbilt being Oklahoma. I mean, not Oklahoma, but Bama this year. Oklahoma at the end of the year being Bama. Teams that, if you look at it pregame, you would go opposite are actually winning these games. I mean, the way South Carolina finished this year, the way Ole Miss finished. I mean, I just think that the parity is something that they just won't be able to overcome. Because think about it. To me, you lost to Oregon by 1. You shouldn't have. You lost to Michigan and you should have. Based on how they structured everything, based on how they played coverage on defense, and how they just game managed on offense. I think that was a great game plan by them, but Michigan is a bottom tier team in the league at this point. Or I wouldn't say bottom tier, but mid-range team in the Big Ten. So that's just my take on that. But concerning 2026, some of the biggest gets that I think are going to come out of that class, we got to talk about Jared Curtis. You got to talk about Faison Brandon because both of those guys play the quarterback position.
Yeah.
And
one is uncommitted though. The other one is actually committed to Tennessee, I think, still.
Brandon.
But they talking about he possibly may go to is it North Carolina?
I don't know.
Okay, okay.
They put these batteries over. Yeah, man. You got your pen. But like I said, with 2026 finishing up, and with 2026 finishing up, who do you like right now, coaching wise?
Uh,
The carousel.
I mean, if you ask me, it was some switch ups. The top switch ups I look at is Charles Huff leaving Marshall after winning a bowl game, and going to Southern Miss.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's going to be big for the Sun Belt. It's going to be kind of tough for South due to a recruiting matchup now. With Charles Huff being closer to Mobile, I think that'll present a better matchup with South Alabama versus Southern Miss now. I think it's going to be. I think he's going to change a little bit of the landscape for that university because Southern Miss has been a laughing stock in football for some time now. So, especially in the in the Sun Belt, I don't think they haven't been in the Sun Belt too long, if I'm not mistaken. But even the time they have been in the Sun Belt or played in the Sun Belt, it hadn't truly been competitive, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of him, give me Bill Belichick, man, coming to North Carolina. I think that's going to be massive. I don't know how it's going to translate as far as development goes, but I know he's going to bring in talent. He's going to bring in some top tier coaches, and he's going to bring in some top
Mm-hmm.
talent. And then the last coach I got on the board is Gus Malzahn stepping down from UCF and going to
How
FSU.
did you feel about that? Did you think that that was considered a lateral or a downward move?
I think it was good for him. I mean, where else are you gonna go? I mean, we know he ain't really a head coach. You know what I'm saying? Gus is a coordinator, man. He going back to his roots. We all know when he was a coordinator, he produced. He won games. He won a championship. So and he had some great talent on offense and scheme and schematic players that only fit in his system. Those players didn't thrive outside of his system. So
Mm-hmm.
um, you put him at Florida State, a team who desperately needs a reviving next year. I think you give their offensive identity with Gus coming in. The problem is with that, if it don't work, it don't work. So it's either gonna work or it's not gonna work at all. There ain't no in between with that offense.
Mm-hmm.
So because he has a specific style of offense, he's gonna play a quarterback that's mobile, and that can run the football. He's not a real keen on pocket passes, so we're gonna see how him and Mike Norvell kind of mesh together and build that program back up.
Yeah, man. I honestly thought it was a lateral move in my eyes. Just talking about going from mid major back to the Power Four. Still being in Florida, so he didn't have to move far. Probably. I'm pretty sure the commute was great as far as being able to go find a new home and whatnot. Um, and then just his ability as a coordinator. And I agree with you 100%. I think he's way better as a coordinator than he was a head coach, although he still made ACC championships and things of that nature as a head coach. I just think he thrives better in the OC position. Um, One more guy that I want to highlight, well, two or three. And I guess I'll just switch it to NFL because these are some names that obviously are being considered NFL and college wise. So, Deion, everybody know Deion, Coach Prime. He has spoken with Jerry Jones about the head coaching vacancy with the Dallas Cowboys, and honestly, I think it was a professional move by Deion, so he can keep his name in the hat when it comes to NFL positions. I also don't think it was a bad move because he can still be protected and just not take the job. So everybody knowing the history that surrounds the Dallas Cowboys with Jerry Jones and his down period as far as since 1995, so 30 years ago, currently. Um, him trying to be the GM is definitely something that is not profitable. It's not beneficial, and it's not producing and winning games. So therefore, him asking Deion for the position, I hope that he is allowing this man to take full control of his program. What do you think?
We know the answer to that. It called Jerry World for a reason. That's exactly who World it is. He ain't going. That's clickbait. I think that's talk. If he go anywhere, it'll be Vegas. You know what I'm saying? Because I think Vegas really has a chance to draft Shador and Shiloh, and he clearly said on one of his interviews, I think it might have been with Good Morning America. They asked him if there's a possibility if he would. I can't remember if it was Good Morning America or not, but it was an interview. He spoke on last week. I want to say he said that it is not 100% out of the possibility for him to go to the NFL and coach both of his sons. And he said, can't be one of them, got to be both of them. He said that is the only way I would go to the NFL and be an NFL coach.
Mm-hmm.
So
that monumental, man, because people did a lot of talking about nepotism as far as with the recent story, Bronny James, and how his dad has made sure he's had active games with the active roster and also in the G League so he can develop. And then Deion just having his way. And I love it. I want him to have his way. I think he is setting a new standard as far as how you're supposed to treat your sons, how you're supposed to ensure that they have a way going forward, and how you want to make sure that you do the best that you can to sculpt their future and help them.
You know somebody else. You know somebody else who did that too. That ain't no coach though.
What that?
LeVar Ball.
Correct. He did a great job. He did a great job. Everybody thought it was crazy. The only thing I don't like about him is he said it was better than Jordan, and we know the truth.
Oh yeah, he tripped.
I can't find no highlights on the Ball.
Yeah, he tripped. He tripped on that.
So LeVar, I applaud you as a father. You know, we both are fathers, so obviously we definitely applaud you, salute you. I think it's that's probably a great feeling. Yeah, all three of your sons are rich, and I'm talking about rich wealth wise.
Mm-hmm.
So having access to all those resources, amenities, and things of that nature is probably such a great feeling for him because he manifested it all along. He looked like the craziest man on earth, proclaiming how good his kids were gonna be, how good Jello was gonna be, how good Lonzo was gonna be.
I mean, he lied about that. Now they went. Only one that's really playing good is LaMelo. Lonzo ain't hitting on too much, and Jello didn't make the league. So he lied a little bit. He just set him up for success by speaking it into existence.
Correct. And like I said, I totally agree if LaMelo being the top talent. But I also will say that Lonzo's career has been tarnished with injury. And I hate that for him.
He still on top.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. I don't know what he would have been.
I ain't gonna say he would have been on top talent. I seen them years in LA before he got hurt. He wasn't all that. He wasn't no top 2 pick. I take whoever went before him.
I mean, you know who went first.
And that's who I want.
I think that was default.
Was it default shit? No.
I don't know who went first. Let me see.
Yeah, you gotta find that out now. Because that wasn't no default. It was somebody that was better than him. Might have been Jason Tatum or something.
When did he get drafted?
But we took somebody. Let me see. $2017.
Yeah. Markel Fultz. Wow.
Jason Tatum, bro, went third. Come on, bro. We should have took JT over.
Default went fifth. That's crazy.
Donovan Mitchell. You got Donovan Mitchell out there.
Who went 4?
I don't even know. Probably a bus because they ain't got him on here.
Nah, they got him on. Number 4 was Josh Jackson, that boy from Kansas.
But we ain't even in it, bro. They said we ain't even do a tryout with Jason Tatum. That disrespectful. That's why they killing with the Celtics, the arch rival.
And then they got them boys back to back, and they just got Jaylen Brown the year before. So we just letting them boys stack up titles in the NBA.
And look, who we picked the next year. I think we might have had a top pick the next year too, and picked somebody else that one. Might have picked, was it Brandon Ingram?
In 2018, you might be right.
We got them back-to-back years. I don't remember what year who came first, but I think it was Brandon Ingram.
It was, man, what the heck? What the hell? Oh, they ain't let me look. They want me to sign up. Hold on, let me get. It was. Oh, 2018. We took. Oh, we ain't had. Oh, yeah, we did. We took Moritz Wagner. That boy that ended up with the Cavalier with Bron.
Man, it was the year we took Brandon Ingram. It was somebody else that was 5, and we took B. I forgot who it was though.
It might have been 2016. Let me see. Yeah, Brandon Ingram was 2016. They took Ben Simmons. They did right.
But who else was in the top 5?
They could have got Jaylen Brown.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. 2 years in a row, you pass up on them guys.
And Jaylen Brown played ball in California.
Come on, and then you
ain't no way he don't work out.
And then you don't even get Jason Tatum to work out. He a lifelong Laker fan, Kobe fan. Kobe, come on, man.
That's crazy. But to wrap it up, the 3 guys I want to highlight also with Deion, Eric Glenn, the defensive coordinator for the Lions, and Ben Johnson, the offensive coordinator for the Lions. I think they've had a remarkable year. I think they have been very, very potent offensively and defensively, and they've been innovative as far as how they perform, the results that they're putting up, and then obviously the team camaraderie that they present on a daily basis. Those are going to be 2 head coaches. I think the Lions need to go ahead and try to cash in and get that, because you're going to be looking for 2 new coordinators come the February, so March. So as far as that goes, I am eager to see where Kellen Moore ends up as well. He's had a great year with the Eagles, and he's also been in the OC position before on the Cowboys, and I think that's kind of fueled him this year when you talk about how they perform, and also their ability to still get better, how he's coaching those guys and being able to hold them together, because some people will view the Eagles sideline as very dysfunctional. When you talk about A.J. Brown reading last week, A.J. Brown getting on Jalen and D. Smith early in the season. Jalen Hurt coming to the media, asking y'all, is that what y'all wanted to see? It's been a little chaotic. And then, obviously, I want to say the biggest story is Saquon Barkley deciding not to go for the rushing record. Now, he's a very team player, but that's something I wouldn't be able to pass up because of the weight that award would have held. So with Kellen Moore, and then the last person I want to highlight in the coaching, or 2 people I want to highlight in the coaching carousel, Mike Vrabel will be the new head coach with the Patriots. I think that's who Robert Kraft wanted in the first place. I think he took the coach that was there and pretty much just gave him position by default. He was a former player and also had already been there. Didn't at the time have what he needed to be able to land Vrabel, as far as Vrabel not coaching this past season and things of that nature. So for them to get Vrabel, I think that's going to be a great fit. He was a player there, Super Bowl champion there, and I also think that he'll be able to restore a culture there. Last but not least, Robert Saleh. I think Robert Saleh was done very, very unprofessional this year. I think Robert Saleh would have definitely helped the Jets finish better than they did. Um, I think they jumped the gun too early on letting him go out of his position. And they also kind of messed with him a little bit too much as far as off the field scenarios, because look at the production of the defense this past year and look
Yeah.
at the production of his defense last year. You can tell that it was a little bit extra on their plate being able to deal with bringing Aaron Rodgers in, the
Mm-hmm.
new GM or the GM situation that isn't haven't been fluctuant there. So I think Solid was definitely put in an adverse position. I also think that he's a great head coach. I think Solid should be a head coach again in the NFL just because of his ability to, I would say, appeal and rally his guys. I don't ever think I've seen the Jets play with the low amount of energy that I felt like they played with defensively this year. The lack of daisicalness that you may have seen offensively this year.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I definitely know there'll be some changes there. But like I said, I think Robert Saleh deserves at least a coordinator job in this league. His stats as a coordinator back when he was with the 49ers and other stops has shown that he belongs as far as being amongst the league staffs.
What I will say about that is the Jets one of them teams that just got a bad organization, bro. Like it don't matter who the coach is for some of these organizations. It don't matter who the players is. Like they just gonna be bad. That's just what it is. The Giants one of them. The Jets one of them. It's something about New York. It's something
Mm-hmm.
about New York. Carolina. They seem like they might be making a turn. But it starts with these GMs, man, trying to control too much on the field versus just staying in the office. And that's the problem we got with Jerry Jones. That's the problem we got with Arthur Blanc. He's just a horrible. He suck at drafting him and Terry Fontenot. I think that's how you pronounce his name.
Mm-hmm.
Guys are terrible at drafting for the Atlanta Falcons. So I just think, man, it's more about some of these front office people, these administration people, and not really some of
Get
these.
your tail in that bed.
So yeah, I agree 100%. I think he might. I think he may he'll get another chance. I don't know about head coach right off the bat, but he'll definitely get another chance to get back in that coordinator.
Yeah, man. Well, that was up, man. I think we got another successful episode in tonight.
Oh yeah,
Um, we will revisit some of these topics as we talk about transfer portal, NIL, and how effective that has been to the current recruiting cycle. What changes that we may like to see as far as the transfer portal and NIL. So you all tune in to our pod. Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. And once again, we thank you all for being with us. And we hope to see you more and more. Please hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And we will continue to interact and put out positive content concerning the world of sports. Do you got anything to take them out?
hey, you did your thing, brother. We appreciate y'all again for tuning in to another episode. We'll stay tuned. We'll be back with episode 11 real soon. Real
So,
soon.
all right, my boy. Peace, blessings, and miracles.